Can we start off in prayer? Sorry about this, guys. There we go. Father, we love you and we thank you. God, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to this group of people. Thank you for giving me this message tonight. Or actually, it was Sunday night that you gave it to me. But thank you so much for giving it to me, God. And it means so much to me. God, I ask for you to open hearts tonight. Soften hearts tonight. They might be cold. They might be hard. They might have walls around them. God, I ask for you to make them a fleshy heart and an open heart to what I have to say. God, I ask for you to speak through me what you have spoken in me. We love you and we thank you. Amen. So not only am I taking pastor's sermon for Sunday, y'all are actually hearing the sermon I did to my youth group on Sunday. So not only I'm taking it, I'm also reusing it. Sorry, guys. I already got a comment about I'm too young to already be reusing my sermons. That's fair. That's fair. But let's start off with the question. How many people in here, in their lives, has ever been afraid of the dark? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. I'm glad it's not just me. But I remember growing up being absolutely terrified of the dark, right? Especially after watching like scary movies. I was introduced to scary movies at a really young age. And I hated them. I hated scary movies. And it didn't help me with my fear of the dark, you know? See, scary movies like to use the darkness as a way of scaring people. They would hide the jump scares in the darkness, right? Have y'all ever... Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like the one corner in the room that's dark... And it's normally in the background, and you're like, something bad's about to come out of that and attack somebody, you know? Yeah. So after watching scary movies, I remember laying in my bed at night, and I'm like 9, 10, and I'd make shapes out of the shadows of the things in my room, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not the only one, okay? So I remember this one time that I was in my room and I was laying down and I had a chair in my room and I had a hoodie over the chair in my room, and for some reason my brain was like, that's a person in your room right now. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm 9 years old. That looks like a grown man in my room. I'm gonna cry. And then my eyes adjusted. And I turned on the light, and it was just a chair, and I felt kind of dumb after that, right? So, I don't know. I was just kind of trying to break the ice there a little bit. We talked a little bit about darkness there. I want to talk about the light. I want to talk about light today. So, we'll do number 1. God is light. Well, we'll start in Genesis. Very first chapter, very first sentence in the whole Bible. If you're looking for it and you can't find it, get another Bible. It's literally page 1, literally the first things that is in the Bible. Okay? We're going to be in Genesis 1, verse 1 through 5. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? We all know that. And then it says, the earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God hovered over the surface of the waters. So today I wanted to show you a little world that I got. I don't know if y'all can see that. Little world. And this can be our formless world. It has a shape right now, so don't look at that too much. You could put a little rag over it or something. That's formless, right? So the cool thing about this verse is it's very, very descriptive of the earth before the light even came to it. It was dark. It was empty. It was formless. It didn't have a shape to it, right? I think of do y'all know Nickelodeon, the show? I think of the little splat of the Nickelodeon logo. That's what I think of the earth when I hear formless. I might be wrong about it. That's what my mind goes to. But darkness, the word darkness there, the word darkness, it also in this verse means evil and chaotic. Do y'all hear me? Evil and chaotic. It says darkness, but the Hebrew word for that is chaotic and evil. So I want y'all to remember that, okay? So chaotic, evil, dark. Okay, so I wanna tell y'all something. I wanna tell y'all a little story. On Sunday, we did a game before my sermon, and we blindfolded the kids, and we spun them around, and it was a relay race. So we started them over here, we spun them around, and we let them walk over on the other side of the room, and on the other side of the room was chairs that were set up in a whiteboard. And I put the whiteboard down, and without taking the blindfold off, I told them to write your name 5 times, and then go back, and the next person do it. And then I tell them to spin around again, come back, and do your last name. Not taking off the blindfold. They can't see what they're doing, right? And then I told them to come back, and I told them to do their middle name. Anna, do you have the pictures? I think this is so funny. There we go. So this is Marina. She did a pretty good job. You can see that she kind of mixed her first name and her last name together and kind of wrote off the board. Can we go to the next one? There's Alan. Sorry, Alan, I have to call you out on this. Alan, and then his middle name and his last name kind of became one there. Let's go to the next one. There's Cammie. I don't know what happened there. And then the last one, there's Giada. There's a lot of smearing, and it's kind of everywhere, right? So I did this because I wanted them to have this idea of what a chaotic darkness looked like. Like Marina did a great job on writing her name, right? It still looked pretty, but I know that she could have done it way better than she did if she could actually see what she was looking at. You know what I'm talking about? So I say darkness, formless, empty, chaotic, evil. This is what the earth looked like. And then, let's keep on going. It says, in verse 3, it says, "Then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and then he separated the light from the darkness. God called light day and the darkness night, and the evening passed, and the morning came, marked the first day." You see that? He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He said the light was good. So this is my little example. It said, God, let there be light, and then there's a little light on the earth, right? It's more than that, right? We know that it's more than that. This is my little example, okay? So, sorry, I'm a little hyped up. So like I said, he first created the heavens and the earth. He saw that the earth was evil and chaotic, and then he did what? He gave it light. I love it. I looked this up just to make sure that I was right and wasn't lying to y'all. I looked it up, and it said probably anything better than I was going to say. I don't even know who said it. It said that God didn't destroy the darkness. He just added light to it. Isn't that cool? He never said he destroyed the darkness. He just added light to the darkness. He controlled the darkness, right? He controlled it by separating the dark and the light, day and night, okay? So, and then I thought to myself, how did he do it? How does someone control darkness? How does someone control light? And then the typical answer is, he's God. Well, I wanted to look a little more into it. Let's go to 1 John. We're going to be in the first chapter, and we're going to be in verse 5. It says, this is the message we hear from Jesus. This is Jesus, okay? And now declare to you, okay, it's not Jesus, I'm sorry. We heard this from Jesus, and now John is declaring this to us. God is light, and there is no darkness in him at all. So we are lying if we say that we have a fellowship with God, but go on living in spiritual darkness. We are not practicing we are not practicing the truth. But if we're living in the light, as God is the light, then we have fellowship with each other, and the blood of Jesus, his Son, cleanses us from our sin. Cleanses us from our sin, from all sin. Sorry, I'm a little hyped up right now. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it right now. I'm sorry, guys. So what it's saying is God is light, and there is no darkness in God. So I thought to myself again, how was God able to control God? Or how is God able to control light? And you can say the easy answer is he's God. Or you can say that God is light, and that's how he controlled the darkness. Do you see what I'm talking about? So it got me thinking more. The fact that he is light, that's how he gives light. If that makes sense. You can't give something that you don't have yourself. I can't love something, I can't love someone until I'm loved first and I have love. Does that make sense? God is light, so he gave light. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have an earth, boom, and we have light, and we know that light is God, right? Let's go to number 2. I'm gonna confuse them right here. Jesus is the light of the world. So now you're looking at me and you said, wait, you said God is light. And now you're telling me that Jesus is the light? They're the same, but not really. They're the same, yes, but one's human. Okay? So let's go to John. We're going to go to chapter 9, and we're going to be in verse 1. It says, as Jesus walked along, he saw a man who has been blind from birth. Rabbi, his disciples asked him, why is this man born blind? Was it because of his own sin, or was it because of his parents' sin? This is what Jesus said. It was not because of his sins, and it wasn't because of his parents' sins. This happened so that the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the task assigned to us by the one who sent us. The night is coming, and then there's no one that can work. I told you all of this because I want this one verse to stick out. Wanna switch it? Verse 5. Verse 5. It says, but while I'm on earth, while I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. You see that? I can continue on with this story. He spits in the ground, he makes mud, and then he cleanses he puts it on the guy's eyes, and he heals the blind. Awesome, right? I want to just stay here though. while I'm here in the world, I am the light of the world. So I thought about this. So if God is the light, and now Jesus is the light of the world, how does that make sense? And then I think to myself, Jesus is God's son, right? And then I think, I'm my dad's son. And I think of all of the things that has been passed down from my dad to me. If you look at my dad when he was my age, he looks like this. Not as handsome, okay? But he looks somewhat like this. He couldn't grow a beard, that's about it. He looks like me. I look like him. It's passed down to his son, right? His anger was passed down to me. It's not always good and it's not always bad, okay? These things are passed down to me, right? I'm probably going to start graying. My hair is going to start becoming gray at the age of 29 because that's what happened to my dad, right? These things are passed down. It's like, what is the word? And the heir, you're the heir to it, right? And the will, you're the heir to it. Okay, now think about this. Just like I got my looks from my dad, Jesus got his looks from God. Does that make sense? He got the responsibility of being the light from his dad. If that doesn't make sense, let me keep going. So back in the day, in the Jewish time, when Jesus, in the Jewish time, I'm so sorry. When you're a Jew, back in the time when Jesus was on earth, you would go to school. The first thing you do is go to school to be a rabbi. Does that make sense? You go to school. Everyone goes to school to be a rabbi. But what if you don't make it as a rabbi? What do? You do what your dad does. Does that make sense? If your dad's a fisherman, guess what you get to become? A fisherman. Okay, Jesus was a carpenter. Why was he a carpenter? Because his earthly father was a carpenter. You see that? Now does that work through your mind? So his earthly father was a carpenter. So he was a carpenter. His father is the light of the world, and it passed down to him. Jesus. So Jesus is now the light of the world. Does that make sense? I'm sorry. I might be a little bit confusing. But that's the best way I could think of it. That's the way that it makes the most sense to me. Is that it's passed down from God, the Father, to his Son. The responsibilities, his look, it all was passed down to Jesus. Let's go to number 3. I'm going to lose you here. This is about to get crazy. Number 3. We are the light of the world. Okay, so now you're looking at me and you're going, I don't know what you're talking about. It makes sense. When God created light, that means he has to be the light. Now you're telling me that Jesus is the light. You lost me a little bit there because God and Jesus now is the light. Doesn't make sense. Now you're telling me that we're the light of the world. Boom, right over you. Let's go to Matthew. We'll go to chapter 5, and we're going to be in 14. This is Jesus talking to us. He says, you are the light of the world. Like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father. Let's go to the very beginning. You are the light of the world. So the last verse I talked about Jesus being the light of the world. But at the very beginning of what Jesus said, it said, while I'm in the world. I'm sorry, I keep on replacing earth in the world. While I'm on the earth, while I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. And this is going to be a hard thing to swallow. But Jesus isn't on the earth right now, is he? We're waiting for his second coming, right? That means he went to heaven. That means he's not on earth right now. Correct? You can say God is always with us. Jesus, as a human form, is not on earth. Correct? So, because Jesus isn't on earth right now, that means the responsibility of the light of the world is up in the air, right? So Jesus had to do what God did to him. Jesus said, God gave me the responsibilities of being the light of the world. Now, as my sons and daughters, it's your turn to take my air. Do you see that? It's like a king that passes down to a king, 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 right? Y'all do the same stuff as your fathers did. God was the light. He created the light. He was the light. He passed it down to his son, who was the light of the world. And now he passes that down to his sons and daughters. Do you see that? But what's really cool to me is that he doesn't say, or he goes on a little bit more, Jesus does. He doesn't just say that we're the light of the world, but he describes us as a lamp on a hilltop. A light on the hilltop and a lamp. Can you go to the next one? Yeah. No one lights a lamp. We're the lamp, by the way, guys. I just want y'all to know. No one lights a lamp. Sorry, it's not really a lamp. I didn't want to buy a lamp. All right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about these. I used a flashlight. I'm not saying Jesus is a flashlight, okay? Let me get that out of the way before I start this. And everyone comes up to me afterwards and you're saying Jesus is a flashlight. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have a flashlight, it's really good for the dark, okay? It is really good to help you walk in the dark. But it's really good to help just you walk through the dark. Does that make sense? You see how small that light is? I'm so sorry. Do you see how small that light is? I don't know the best way to do this. It was dark when we did it on Sunday, but if you keep this right here next to you and you look down and you're like, God, you're my light and I'm going to follow you and only you and I'm going to worry about me. This helps you really good when it's just you and you're not tripping over everything because you can see. You're cutting through the darkness, right? With the light. But with the lamp, it's not just for you. Do you see that? A lamp isn't just for you. Again, it's better when it's dark, but when you turn the lights off in here, this is brighter than any flashlight. I can't say any flashlight. It's brighter than the flashlight. You see what I'm talking about? The flashlight is just for you, walking in front of you, making sure that you don't trip and fall. But when you have a group of people, the flashlight isn't going to be for everyone else. When you hold this up, it lights everything around you. Jesus says that no one lights a lamp. There's your light, there's your lamp, and no one covers it under a basket. No one covers it under a basket. Because everything that the lamp is doing right now is canceled out because you're covering it and you're hiding it. You're hiding Jesus. You're hiding the light. Do you see that? You can't help anyone if you're covering the light. You can't guide anyone out of the darkness if you're covering the light. It's no help to anyone. You see that? How many of us know that this life isn't about just getting yourself to heaven? If it's just about getting yourself to heaven, then you missed it. I've heard somebody describe it as walking up to Mount Everest and just staying up there. But there's guides that get paid that probably don't just get paid, but they enjoy doing what they're doing, and they take people up to the Mount Everest top. And they don't stay there. When they take the people up to the very top of the mountain, what do? They go back down, they get more people, and they take them right back up to the top. This life isn't about just you making your way through life. This life isn't about you sticking your head down and making sure you're getting to heaven. I'm following the light, God. I'm doing everything right. It's not about that. We're not called to be just a flashlight, just a little flashlight that gets you to heaven. We're called to be a lamp. And we're not supposed to cover the light up that God gives us. We're supposed to hold it up high, and we're supposed to guide people through the darkness. Does that make sense? So God was the light. Jesus was inherited the light. And then he gives us the responsibility of being the light. Isn't that cool? I guess that's just me. I don't know. And you're asking me, how can I be this lamp? How can I be this lamp? Like, that isn't for me. I'm supposed to be the flashlight. I'm supposed to get to heaven. It's only about me getting to heaven. How can I be a lamp? You invite people, you talk to people about Jesus, and you live like Jesus. I think about it like this. Have y'all ever seen somebody walk in a room, and right when they walk into the room, the whole mood of the room changes? I'm sorry, I have a little hair. Oh my goodness. Pastor, you don't know about this. It's a rough time. Okay, back to the question. Back to the question. I'm sorry. I'm done roasting Pastor. I'm sorry. Okay. But right when they walk into a room, it's that one person. Y'all know that person? You have that person in mind? You know that one person. For me, it's my life group leader. He walks into the room, and the whole room becomes lighter, becomes like more joyful to be there. It almost like he brightened up the room. He's called to be the light. He's called to be a lamp. You're supposed to light up the room. That's who you're supposed to be. Through Jesus, you're supposed to be like, through living like Christ, you're supposed to be like that. Right? And it might be hard and it might be tough, but there's, or I like this. We have a lot of kids that are homeschooled. I'm not saying anything bad about being homeschooled, or they go to small schools. And I hear this a lot. We don't have anyone to invite to church. Who am I supposed to invite to church? Everyone I go to school with is either my sister or someone that already goes to church. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe, sorry, I'm going to turn this off. I'm getting blind every time I turn around. And I think to myself, maybe I'm asking them too much. Maybe I'm just asking them too much. They're homeschooled. What am I supposed to do? And then I think to myself, there has to be one person that they run into in their lifetime that doesn't know Jesus, that doesn't go to church, that doesn't have family that knows Jesus. Those are the people that we're supposed to be lights to. They go to the girls that in my youth go to a thing called co-ed, right? Is that right? Co-op, where they go and they meet with a whole bunch of other homeschool kids and have a nerd session going on. And like, it's super awkward, I bet. I don't know. You should see Rena's face right now. It's about as red as my shirt. But here's the thing. You can't tell me that every person that goes to that co-op, every person that goes to their school, to Grape Creek, to San Angelo, you can't tell me every single person in that room and every single person in their life knows Jesus. You can't tell me that. I know for a fact that every person that I work with every single day, they don't know Jesus. We like to put excuses in our mind, and we like to put these little barriers around us that says, oh, they already probably have somebody telling them about Jesus. But what happens when you have that mindset of they already have somebody that's telling them about Jesus, and then you don't tell them about Jesus? And there's actually no one telling them about Jesus. And you're thinking to yourself, no, I can't, because they already have somebody. So you're not telling them about Jesus, and no one else is telling them about Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? So I want to end it. I want to end it like this. We need to be the lamp, right? And I looked this up because I was really curious, and I was thinking this number was way too high when I was first looking it up. I didn't know the number of this, but I thought it was going to be way too high, and I wasn't going to be able to use it in my sermon because it would have been ridiculous. So I looked up the percentage of the world that is Christians, that knows Jesus and live for Jesus. I looked it up. And in my mind, before I saw the number, I thought it was going to be too high to use in this sermon. In my mind, I thought it was going to be like in the high 50s, the high 60s, the high 70s. That's what my mind thought. You want to know what it is? 31.11% of the world knows Jesus and lives for Jesus. 31.11%. In my mind, I thought it was higher, because where I'm at, in my church, the people around me, my friends, they all know Jesus. The people in my church, they all know Jesus and they all love Jesus. You see what I'm talking about? So in my mind, because all of you know Jesus and all of the people in my life that know Jesus, that number had to be higher, because I was comfortable where I was at. Now tell me if this makes sense. With all of these lights on, and I turn on a lamp, this lamp doesn't really do anything. Does it? My lamp is worthless in a lit up room. It doesn't work in here. It turns on. It's on, Jesus. My lamp's on. I'm lighting up something. But does it actually work when you're in a lit up room? When you're in a room full of lamps? Does that make sense? In this case, Olga, you're a lamp. Jose, you're a lamp. John, you're a lamp. All of you are lamp. All of you are lamps. Does it make sense for me to just light my lantern up, my lamp, whatever it says up there, if I light it up in a room full of lamps? Does mine do anything? It doesn't do anything. 31%. Isn't that crazy? In my mind, it was a lot higher because there's lamps around me. My world was bright. There's lamps all around me. But there's people out there in the darkness. There's people out there that live in the darkness. They live in the chaos, the fear, the evil that we talked about. The world was evil. It was chaotic. It was dark. They're living in that right now because they don't have anyone to show them the light. Do you see that? So I'm going to ask y'all a couple questions to end, and then I'm gonna let y'all have a time where y'all talk to Jesus about this. Okay? I'm going to play a song. Anna already has a song ready. And y'all get to have a time with Jesus. Okay? Number one, is that number okay with you? Is 31.11% of the world that knows Jesus and follows Jesus, is that okay with you? Is there not anything in your heart right now that's going, that's not high enough? That doesn't even pass a paper in school. You're not even close. And then the runner-up is Islam. You know that they're projecting that Islam in 2050 is going to be over Christianity percentage-wise of the world? Because in the last 10 years, they skyrocketed. Isn't that crazy? In 2050, they're supposed to blow us out of the water. Is that number, is 31.11, is that good enough? Is that okay with y'all? Are y'all okay with that? Because to me, that's way too low. That's way too low. And number two, are y'all willing to be like, are y'all willing to guide people to Jesus? Even if it's not the coolest thing to do, the most righteous thing to do. I guess it would be the most righteous. The coolest thing to do, the most awesome thing to do. Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's not popular to follow Jesus in this world. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not popular. That guy that walks into the room with the lamp that lights up the whole room, he doesn't drive in with a sports car. Because it's not cool. I promise you, it is not cool. People are going to think you're crazy to live for Jesus. There's people that go across the ocean right now and dying right now for Christ. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus say it's going to be easy. You never get a lamp to guide you. I'm so sorry. You never get a lamp to guide you in a place where it's really soft terrain and it's very easy to walk in and it's in a straight line. Right? I think of using this lamp in like a forest where like there's roots growing up and you have to turn this way and you have to crouch and you have to get your way through it, right? You're not going to light this lamp and walk down a straight hallway. That's not what he's calling you to do. He's not asking you to guide people down a straight hallway. Why would anyone need to be guided down a straight hallway? Doesn't make sense. Are you willing to guide people to Jesus? I'm going to pray. It's going to be a short one. And then we're going to play some music, and I want y'all to spend time with Jesus. And I want y'all to get real with Jesus. Because 31% is too low. It's too low. And if you don't have that fire in your heart about this, if there's nothing like tearing up your heart about that number, then talk to Jesus, because you need that heart of There's only 30%. That means there's 70% of people out there that doesn't know Jesus. You need a heart like that. There should be a fire in your heart about that. 31% is too low. Father, I love you and I thank you. I thank